Hola, my name is Lerato, and I would like to inspire you to live your best life, to live up to your full potential, and to celebrate healthy food. In today's video, we'll be covering 3 topics. We'll be talking about motivations and staying productive. That's the first topic we'll be covering. The second one is the topic of happiness. And the last topic we'll be covering is health and wellness. So just to give you some background to what inspired today's video, I'm on TikTok as well. If you don't follow me there, I've linked it to my YouTube account, and you can also see the name of my TikTok account down below. So during the lockdown, I did 100 vlogs for the 100 days of lockdown, and there I think most of you got to see what my days are like, and that I inspire on a daily basis to live a productive life, to be productive at work, at home, and with everything else that I do. So on those vlogs, you saw my life at a very close range, and some of you came back to me with questions around what do I do to keep so motivated and so happy and healthy as well. So that is the reason or the motivation behind today's video. But before we get into that, you guys know that I cannot function without my caffeine. So I'm gonna go make myself a hot cuppa. So you're welcome to join me, or go fix yourself a cup of tea or coffee. Get comfortable, because today we'll be covering a lot. And if you want to take out a notebook so you remember some of the key things that we're covering in today's video, feel free as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. So let me go make myself a cuppa. Let's get into today's video. Let's first talk about the issue of motivation and staying productive. Okay, so guys, these are my views. This is what has worked for me. Surely, I'm sure something else, or you guys do things differently, and that has worked for you. So with staying motivated, what has worked for me is just having an end goal in mind, right? I live my life in such a way that I always have an end goal in mind. I always think about what kind of a life do I want to live, which is what actually inspires or motivates me on a daily basis to actually work towards my end goal, right? So I'm very intentional, That brings us to the next thing, which is being intentional. So I think big picture. I think, what do I want for my career? What do I want for my family? What do I want for my health and wellness? And then I will then develop a routine, right? A routine on a daily basis that supports those things that I want out of life ultimately. If I decide I want to be a healthy person, then on a daily basis, I will make the decisions to support that, right? So obviously, if you want to be healthy, it goes without saying that you have to eat right. You have to give your body the right kind of nutrients that it needs for you to stay healthy. And you need to also do some sort of exercise. So that's how I managed to stay so motivated. The same applies to my career. I'm very intentional. I ask myself, what do I want for my business, and how do we get there? What are the steps? Then I break it down into small, minuscule steps for me to get there. And those steps are like little steps that one takes on a daily basis, working towards the end goal, right? Although I understand and I appreciate the fact that yes, life is an infinite game. There's never arriving there, but you have to develop a clear picture for your life. That's the first thing, right? Have a goal in mind. And also the second thing is to be intentional. And the third thing around the issue of motivation is to develop a routine that actually supports what you want, that supports your goals. You cannot decide that you want to live a healthy life, but then always sink yourself into junk food, obviously that does not support your end goal in mind, and it will have you very demotivated and frustrated in the process, right? So that's how I managed to keep myself, even during the hard lockdown in South Africa. That's how I managed to actually motivate myself on a daily basis to keep productive, to keep healthy, and to keep well. On the subject of a routine, right? So a routine is not this strict regime that you follow every single day to choke you and to take away your happiness, right? I believe in the idea of sitting down with yourself and negotiating with yourself what works for you. You're not a soldier, you're not in the army. And if you are too hard or too strict on yourself, I find that to not really work. Like whenever I've tried maybe to go on a crash diet where I'm so strict on myself and I don't allow myself to eat any of the stuff that I enjoy, I find myself to always fail. I outright fail. But if I negotiate with myself and I say, okay, so how about you work out 3 days a week or 4 days a week, every other day? That tends to work with me. I've heard one speaker, I can't remember who it is, mentioning that when you're developing a routine, you need to negotiate with yourself as if you are negotiating on behalf of someone that you really care about. So you have to give yourself that kindness and that grace to actually develop the routine, to allow yourself that space to make mistakes, to take a break, to take it easy. And in that way, I find that it works. Topic I would like us to talk about is the topic of happiness, right? So I'm still a bit conflicted, right, about the issue of happiness, right? Can one stay happy and be happy every single day of their lives? Well, my answer is no, because happiness is an emotion. Happiness is like hurt, sadness, disappointment. They're all emotions, right? And one cannot hold on or make an emotion their highest ideal, because emotions change depending on what's happening around us, right? So I believe that yes, happiness should be there. Happiness should be a part of someone's everyday life, but it cannot be your highest ideal. What I find to work for me is the topic of meaning, or rather finding meaning in everything that happens around me, right? And also on this topic, I'd like to touch on the issue of a person understanding themselves when it comes to happiness, right? You have to understand who you are and what works for you as an individual, right? A good place where I started in my journey of self-discovery and self-growth is understanding my personality, right? I did a test called the Carl Jung. I will link it down below, the Carl Jung personality test. That will give you a basic framework of your personality. And if you understand your personality, you're able to make better informed decisions. You know, I wish somebody had told me this when I was much younger, right? Because then I would have understood my personality and made better decisions when it came to what career to pick, where to live, how to live my life, which hobbies to pursue, life partner, all of those. If you understand your personality and your personality type, all of those things, you will make much more or much better decisions around that. On the test, it actually tells you, okay, whether you're introverted or extroverted, right? If you're an introverted person, obviously you get energized from within. You can self-energize. You don't need people around you for you to start like creating ideas or being in a good space or feeling inspired. But if you're extroverted, you actually need social spaces. You need to be around people for you to start functioning optimally, for you to get energized and inspired, right? So if you understand where you sit on that spectrum, right? Say you extroverted, for instance, you know that a job of a scientist could never work for you, no matter how hard you try, because when you're a scientist, you're basically a lab rat. You're locked in a lab and you perform experiments. And we know that an extroverted person needs to be around other humans where they can get energized, where they can get inspired, and they get motivated as well. So on the issue of happiness and self-awareness, those two go hand in glove, wherein you absolutely cannot be happy or pursue happiness unless if you are self-aware and you understand what works for you. Only then can you start moving forward and asking yourself on a daily basis, what works for me, what doesn't work for me? And fearlessly pursuing those things, doing more of the things that serve you and letting go of the things that don't serve you. So you'll have that synchrony and that alignment, that internal alignment where things talk to each other, where you're not forcing matters, where you're copying other people and not necessarily doing you or pursuing what works for you. So self-awareness and happiness, you cannot separate the two, because what works for one individual can never work for you. And once you know what works for you, you will fearlessly go after it. You'll pursue it. You'll set boundaries with people, and you'll let go of whatever else does not serve you. And you'll find yourself more at peace and less at conflict, because you know what you're going for and you're following it. I hope you guys are following my thought process. I hope if you need to take notes, do so. If you need to go take some time off to reflect and see what works for you, definitely I would encourage you to go back and sit with yourself and research a little more and listen to yourself, listen to the little clues. You know, if one day you're cooking or you're writing and while you're doing it you're feeling so inspired and motivated and energized, you must know that that is the thing you must do more of. Do it more and more and more. Or say you're sitting with a bunch of friends and you're out drinking and clubbing and you feel yourself feeling so drained. Your body, your spirit is telling you, no, you don't need to be here. You don't belong here. You don't need to do that. So listen to the small clues and just be woke, be aware. Okay, so we're almost near the end of the video and we will be covering the topic of health and wellness. You guys, we're keen to know what keeps me motivated to stay healthy and to stay well, right? And how you can actually achieve the same. So I'll give you advice on what you can do, small implementable steps of what you can do to actually move yourself from where you are to a more healthier version of yourself, whether that's for weight loss purposes or just your general health. So there's two aspects to this thing. The first one is the aspect of nutrition. The second one is the aspect of exercising. So on nutrition, I try as much as possible to eat whole foods, fruit, vegetables, and healthy grains. These form the base of my everyday diet. I eat more of these than anything else, right? And when I do eat packaged stuff that comes in a box with a nutrition information, I think that's what it's called. That comes with nutritional information. I make sure to read that because I need to know what's in that bag of chips that I'm consuming, because I didn't prepare it myself. It's unlike me taking a potato and mashing it up at home and eating it. If it's packaged, I always read the food label to understand what it is I'm consuming. So on this topic, I'm not fixated too much on the calories, but I just inform myself or educate myself on what it is my body is taking. So although I'm not fixated in the numbers, I'm very much cognizant or aware of the fact that my body needs certain nutrients in order for it to function optimally and for it to do the work that it needs to do on a daily basis. Your body is a temple of God. It carries you, it does so much for you, and you need to celebrate it, and you need to nourish it and take care of it like something that you love. You know, feed your body right, eat right for your body, and educate yourself as well on how to read food labels. I can do a future video on this if you guys are interested in learning on reading food labels, right? And the second thing, sometimes we don't eat our calories, or we don't eat the bad stuff, but we drink it, right? So I personally don't drink juices and fizzy drinks. I only drink water, coffee, teas, and also very limited alcoholic beverages. Okay, and on the second topic about wellness is the question of exercise. So how I view exercise is that you have to gradually get into it, right? And for me, I found that walking is the best form of exercise. Actually, even fitness experts have confirmed that walking is the best form of exercise. So with exercising, you just need to be consistent. If you decide to walk, at least walk 3-4 times a week, and you will begin to see the difference, right, in your health or in your weight, depending on your goal. I don't, especially now during the lockdown, I normally go to the gym, but during the lockdown, I haven't been able to go to the gym. So I would run or walk or do exercises at home. It's hardly anything intense, but it has helped me to actually lose some of the lockdown weight that I had gained, and it's actually worked for me. I feel good, especially when I work out in the morning, because that just gets me motivated for the day ahead. The energy of my exercise, I always take it right through into my day. As mentioned earlier, I'll be showing you one of my healthy on-the-go breakfasts that I like to have, and that is a banana and strawberry smoothie. Okay, so this is the ingredients that I'll be using. You've got your fresh strawberries, some frozen bananas, some dates, a whole bunch of seeds. I've got flax seeds and sunflower seeds here, chia seeds, and almond milk. Today I'll be using the vanilla flavored one. So I always freeze my bananas so that in case I run out, I know that I always have some bananas. Yeah, so first goes your bananas. So you need to help your blender a little bit by putting the bananas going first. And okay, next goes your strawberries. I've got some fresh ones, but frozen ones work as well. So I always forget to use the cutting board sometimes. I'm gangster like that. So I'm just going to do it like this. If you're not confident with your knife skills, don't copy me. Use a chopping board. In goes your strawberries. They're quite massive, these ones that I'm using. Okay, I think that is enough. Okay, I'll put in one last one. This is enough for 2-3 people, I think. So feel free to use as much as you need. Then put in your dates, right? So this is a pro tip. Instead of using honey or maple syrup, you can use dates. So this was a complete game changer for me. So I put in about 4 or 5 dates, but when I'm making for just myself, I'll just put 2 dates. Then I will add in, I'm not measuring guys, a little bit of flax seeds for that protein and the fiber, and some sunflower seeds, just also about, if I was measuring, I'd say about a tablespoon. Okay, then in goes your almond milk. I would say about a cup or half a cup actually, and also half a cup of water or a cup of water. Then you can, before I run my blender, I need to find the lid. Everything almost came at my face. Make my smoothie. smoothie is now blended up, so now it's time for serving. So I'm gonna use these big jars because it's quite a bit. Okay, and I will top it off with some chia seeds. These have got some protein and some fiber, and also I find that they're very pretty for aesthetics, and you always have to make your food look pretty. That's a rule I live by. And for the final garnish, I want to take a strawberry, slit it in half like that, but not cutting it all the way through, and then I just put it there. And then now for the final, put in the straws. Now for the taste test. I'll tell you if it tastes as good as it looks. So yum, guys. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite on-the-go breakfasts. You can have it on the go on your mornings where you're late and you just need to quickly put together something, put your lid on it, and you can just go off to work or school or whatever. And it's also very nutritious. You saw I put a whole bunch of seeds in here, and with seeds it depends on what you prefer. You don't have to use the exact same seeds that I use the ones that are more accessible to you. You don't have to blow the budget for you to live a healthy life. Okay, so guys, we're right at the end of today's video. If you've watched until this point, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned something. Comment down below to give me some feedback on what you thought about today's video, if you've learned something. And if you haven't subscribed already, I'll encourage you to do so, and give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it. And I post every single Tuesday, so come back next week Tuesday to see what I've posted, and have a blessed week.